IVASS Power Panel 2, which is going to discuss best practices in after-sales service business growth, CRM and profitability. To participate in this panel discussion, I would like to invite Mr. Rama Shankar Pandey, MD, Hella India Lighting. A round of applause for Mr. Pandey, please. Mr. Pandey has more than 19 years of entrepreneurial and turnaround experience in the auto component industry, both in OEM and aftermarket industry fields. Mr. Pandey has a global role at Hella, Germany for the Special OE division. Winner of the Asia Pacific Entrepreneurship Award for 2016 and 2021, he is an alumnus of NIT Calicut, ICFI Hyderabad, and IIM Bangalore, as well as the University of California, Berkeley. With the vision of technology of tomorrow for the life of today on Indian roads, he achieved the business model innovation for the company and won industry recognition, including the most innovative enterprise by CII in 2017. Mr. Pandey is co-chair ACMA CAAC Committee and President CWC Drive Smart, Drive Safe, as well as the co-founder of Prayas in Bangalore. Welcome, sir. Please also put your hands together for Mr. Nilesh Shah, National Head Service, Hyundai Motor India. With 27 years of experience in the automotive and engineering industry, Mr. Shah has worked with Bradma of India Limited, Force Motors, Bosch, Maruti Suzuki, and Tata Motors in their sales, marketing, pre-owned car business, and after-sale sales domain. Mr. Shah leads by example and believes in the power of teamwork, exploring new opportunities with innovative, out-of-the-box thinking. He believes in promoting clean mobility and water conservation, building an organization culture, and strengthening service marketing. Mr. Shah pursues photography as a passion. Welcome, sir. I'd like to invite Mr. Vikrantt Mohan, National President, All India Automobile Workshop Association, IAWA. Please welcome him with a round of applause. With more than 40 years in the automotive industry, Mr. Mohan is the initiator and national president of IAWA. He has conducted training programs and lectures for the central government, defense organization, Lions clubs, college students, engineering undergraduates, as well as entrepreneurs in the automobile service industry. He is also the founder of the Automobile Service Providers Academy and life member of the Andhra Pradesh Motor Sports Club and the Hyderabad Management Association, as well as a member of the Telangana Automobile Dealers Association and the Federation of Telangana Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Welcome, sir. Please also welcome Mr. Harsh Vashist, MD, Satyam Group. Mr. Harsh Vashist, an engineer by profession, founded Satyam International in 1999 to provide complete solutions related to workshop design, garage equipment, air, lube, paint, washing, and environment solutions pan-India. In 2014, he founded Sparsh Autotech Private Limited with the dealerships of General Motors, Chevrolet, Nissan, and Datsun. The company won several awards, including the 3M Winners Award 9 times in a row. He implemented SHE for better safety, health, and environment for his employees. In 2016, he established SCOPE, the Sham Center of Professional Excellence for industry-oriented programs, and later started budding entrepreneurs to promote Atmanirbhar Bharat. Welcome, sir. A round of applause for Mr. Vashist, please. I'd also like to welcome Mr. Vadiraj Katti, CEO and co-founder iTriangle Infotech. Mr. Katti comes with 30 years of experience in the domains of finance, technology, HR sales, and marketing, along with conceptualizing and designing products and solutions in the industry verticals of telematics, automotive and telecommunications, Mr. Katti is also actively engaged with government agencies and policymakers to develop and introduce robust, secure standards for the implementation of IoT and telematics in India. He is the Vice Chair for the Telematics Sub-Pillar of ACMA, also the Vice President of the Telematics Association of India. With a team of highly motivated professionals, Mr. Katti has been instrumental in making iTriangle Infotech the largest Indian manufacturer of vehicle telematics hardware. Welcome, sir. A round of applause, please. I'd also like to invite Mr. Anuj Guglani, founder and CEO of the WAF Group. Anuj, of course, needs no introduction. Welcome. And over to you, sir.
So hello friends and welcome to the graveyard shift for any program because we know what happens after lunch. After lunch, the blood supply starts going to the stomach and the intestine instead of the brain. So the new kind of brain drain. So we start feeling sleepy, our eyes start getting to be shut. But we have to wake up because IVASS doesn't happen every day or every week. It happens once a year. It's once a year you get the opportunity of knowing what are the best practices for profitability and growth. Do you know why we chose this topic? Because profit is not a dirty word. Even CSR needs profits. Yes or no? Even CSR needs profits. So if CSR needs profits, how can profit be a dirty word? It's the most beautiful word. It makes the world go round. It makes the wheels of the economy run and move. Hence, we should love profit and we should love growth. As Mahatma Gandhi had said, people who are making profits, who have the wealth, they are the trustees or the custodians for the people who don't. So let's share. Let's share. You know, it's very easy to say from the stage, let's share, let's do this, let's take care of our people. But how many of us are doing it day in and day out? How many people during COVID drew out loans to ensure the salaries don't stop? How many people ensured that insurances are there, that they are there for the teams if they needed them? That was the biggest opportunity of the century, to be there for your teams. But I'm personally very happy that a lot of people in the automotive industry, a lot of companies actually went the extra mile and they made it happen. And trust you me, all those people who took the help will never forget all throughout their life. Neither them nor their families, and they will come back and do the needful. That's the beauty. So when it comes to the best practices of business growth, when it comes to the best practices of CRM, when you get to the best practices of profitability, we have to talk practical stuff. Theoretical things from the WAV stage are not allowed, right? Kitabi baatein yahan pe varjit hain, as one can say. Let's get practical, tested, tried, proven things in the market. And, the opportunity for us is that we have a fantastic panel here. We have the national head from the second biggest car maker, after sales head. We have the Amitabh Bachchan of road safety in India, an aftermarket champion. We have the national president of All India Automotive Workshop Association. We have Harsh Bhai. We have seen the work he has done for his teams. He has something to show as well. And we have Mr. Katti, who is the MD and co-founder of India's largest telematics company, and also the fastest growing telematics company. Kripya dhyan dein. Yatrigan kripya dhyan dein. Biggest and fastest growing. It's a very rare combination, because when you tend to get big, you tend to get sloppy, you tend to get slow, you tend to drag your feet, but still they are the fastest growing, despite a big denominator, India's biggest. So there's lots to learn right now. ठीक है, ये था सबको जगाने के लिए ताकि हम सब attentive हो जाएं, all right? So I think let's begin with Nilesh ji, if he can set the precedence. See, first of all, there is always this argument of OEM versus aftermarket, the greatest argument, but we want harmony, all right? How we can do win-win. It is not OEM versus aftermarket. It is not authorized versus unauthorized. It is OEM versus independent garages. It is OEM, in fact, not even versus, with OEMs with independent garages, OEMs with aftermarket workshops. So there has to be a harmony where customer is common. गाड़ी Hyundai की हो, Maruti की हो, Mercedes की हो, गाड़ी तो वही है, customer भी वही है. तो जब when customer is same, how can we do this differentiation? So with that point in mind, if we can start with some basic case studies, best practices, Nilesh bhai, on business growth in after sales.
Thank you, Anuj. A very good afternoon to you once again, and it's a pleasure for me to be here on IVASS for the first time. So, as he said, OEM versus aftermarket. So I think it's nothing, it's customer who's there, and we are all here to take care of that customer. So coming of it, if we look at service, we all know that in a dealership business or in an automobile business, service or the after sales is the biggest profit center. So now all the more it becomes important because it has to make profit for the dealership, even to survive during the tough times when the sales are tough. But at the same time, it is also, as someone said in the morning, Mr. Murli said, it's kind of pre-sales, so which is true. So it is said commonly that the first car is sold by sales, and the subsequent cars are sold by service. So that's where the importance becomes even more. So profit, as well as an important tool to stay in the market, to stay relevant, and to keep your customers happy. Because sales will be one time, but service means he'll be associated with you for a much, much longer period, 7, 8, 10 years, even more. So that's where it starts. If we talk of profitability, well, the markets are evolving, customers are evolving, the preferences are also changing. We have a very mixed kind of customer, mix today. So what is more important? If we have to be profitable, if we have to keep our customers happy, I would simply put it this way that, it is the experience that we deliver to customers, whether it is in the form of interactions we have, whether it is in the form of services that we deliver, whether it is in the form of marketing communications that we do. So all kind of 360-degree experience that we give to the customer. That's what eventually builds loyalty and retention. And this loyalty and retention is what is going to drive the profits.
So Nilesh bhai, if you can share some very interesting, best practices, what you feel have really worked for Hyundai Motors. See, you are the second largest car maker in the country. You have thousands of workshops across the country. So when it comes to independent garage, when it comes to your workshop, because you are in a way powering so many thousands of workshops across the country, what is it, if it can be in top 3 things? If any dealer principal comes to you, for example, and says, "Sir, मैं ना पैसे नहीं बना पा रहा." So what are the top 3 things? Like a doctor, if a patient comes to you, the doctor asks some questions to diagnose. If a DP comes to you and says, "मैं पैसे नहीं बना पा रहा," what are the top 3 questions you shall ask him or her?
This is a question which we face many times. It's not the first time that I'm getting this question. So Anuj, as you rightly said, there are times when dealers say that. Generally, people don't come to us and say कि मैं पैसे नहीं बना पा रहा. So I think ये बहुत rare चीज़ होती है after sales में, that we get to hear that I'm not able to make money. But yes, the question that comes is that I'm not making enough profits. So I think that's the right question to be asked, that I'm not making enough profits. So what the answer is, because the profit is a function of whether you have the opportunity. Opportunity, we all know it is there everywhere. With a growing industry, growing car park, the opportunity is always there. It is that maybe, either you're not able to capture a share out of that opportunity, or maybe, even if you're able to capture, you are missing out on some opportunities where you can make revenue. So, clearly, it is not a kind of one answer which I can give to a dealership, because the problems can be very different. Right from getting the share of the customer, which in the car park which is there, and also effectively managing the costs in terms of your day-to-day operation, whether it is manpower, equipment, overall operating expenses, and plus, of course, whether you are growing in terms of your labor and parts consumption, whether in terms of your overall workshop load. So this is what will eventually lead to profits. But then, as I said, competition increasing, we need to look at new things also, and that's what we are doing. Because if we have to make profits going into the future, we'll have to look into segmenting the customers very clearly on the basis of demographics. Demographics, I mean, you have a lot of millennials and Gen Zs coming into business. Their expectations are completely different. Then you have the older Gen X and Gen Ys. Their expectations are completely different. So
Fair
demographics
point.
is
Fair
one.
point. So Nilesh bhai, for a quick calculation, like I'm sure all the OEMs have apps to connect with their customers. So one is having an app. The other is it getting used by the customers, by the dealership people. So in the case of Hyundai, how much revenue distribution possibly you can easily ascertain that this much revenue or service booking I get from the app or this much from the traditional avenues?
Okay. So normally when we talk of we have a thumb rule in terms of it's 1:10 in terms of sales. If you are selling one car, you should be servicing 10 cars. So if we see the adoption of digital tools that we have started, so we had we had the workshop automation in place, and then through websites customer can book a service appointment. So we are still seeing a lesser percentage going into digital, but I would say it's partly something which is catching very fast. And to accelerate further, what we did is that we have now created a single ecosystem because, I'm sorry. So every OEM has different platforms to digitally engage with the customers. So we also had a Hyundai Care app, wherein customer can log in, enroll, and then do all his service-related transactions on the Hyundai Care app, right from booking his service to seeing his service history to tracking and even getting a bill on WhatsApp where we integrated and making a payment also sitting from his home office wherever he is. And similarly, there were things different for pickup and drop and everything. So now what we have done is we have integrated and we have rolled out a solution which we call as My Hyundai app. So now having multiple apps which are serving to different needs of customer, we have a My Hyundai app which we have rolled out last week only. So this app,
as recent as that, huh?
yes. So this My Hyundai app is a single app for any Hyundai customer for any need related to Hyundai. Whether it is buying a car online, whether it is buying an accessory.
Can I book a Shah Rukh Khan appointment on that too?
Well, I think that is the thing we have not included yet. But nevertheless, so the point is, and plus it has our Hyundai Mobility membership, Blue Link integration, charging management solution. So if a customer is owning an EV and he needs to find where is the nearest charging station, it can direct it, direct the customer to the charging
Fantastic.
station.
I think it's pretty end-to-end. Sounds pretty end-to-end. So switching gears now and coming to Pandey ji. So Pandey ji, right from the OEM ecosystem to the aftermarket place, a lot of action is there. A lot of people are employed there. We've been having discussions. So, okay, by the way, before I forget. So friends, couple of reasons to applaud. Hyundai Motor India after sales team. Since the year 2016, so the first IVASS was 2015. Since 2016, consistently every year, Hyundai Motor India after sales entire team has been coming to IVASS. So I think a round of applause for that. Second thing, Pandey ji. I think since 2017, he has not missed a single year. Just 19 mein he had some family engagement. I remember each and every speaker who came when. Okay, आप मुझे सोते हुए जगा के पूछ लोगे, I can tell you. So even Pandey ji consistently there. I think a round of applause. Vikrantt ji started coming, I think 2017, 18, 19. In fact, this same spot we were sitting and we were having discussions. So I think kudos to you, Vikrantt ji. And even with Harsh Bhai, 2017 he started coming and he hasn't left a single IVAS. That's the love people have for IVASS, the love for the community. I think a round of applause. And Katti ji joined the WAF team earlier this year, so even he has not missed a single program of WAF. It's fantastic. So, this is what, you unconsciously, subconsciously, unknowingly notice, observe and feel happy about. And you need to just look for reasons to be happy. Because dukh hone ke to karan har jagah hai. So, Pandey ji, coming back to the discussion, from the same spot as we were discussing, friends, 2018 IVASS, we were at the same venue, same stage. It was the last panel discussion, scheduled for 1 hour. It got stretched to 2 hours, 25 minutes or something. Can you believe it? It got fiery and fiery. We were having arguments. We were fighting on the stage. Can you believe it? There's a video on WAF TV. I can send you a link if you request me. किस पे मुद्दे पे बात हो रही थी? That why are we not focusing on roadside technician skilling as much as we are focusing on the OEM technician and the other technicians? लड़ाई होगी, blood bath हो गया. I was summoned to the office of the associations. कि तुम public forum में ऐसे बात कैसे कर सकते हो? सुन ली डांट, खाली डांट, but दोस्तों, after that meeting, Pandey ji got that rule passed, and Mr. Lahiri was a big force for that. They announced training of 100,000 roadside technicians, and they made a plan of 1 million roadside technician training. 1 million. That video is still there on WAF TV. So, Pandey ji, from the 2018, which was 4 years back, where have you come now in terms of roadside technician, aftermarket garages, and what are the quick tips for them to make money?
Thanks a lot. I think Arindam is here, and I think he has done a tremendous job. I think we must compliment ASDC and Arindam. The last number I heard was 70,000, and we are close to, will be clocking 1 lakh technician. First of all, again, Anuj, thanks a lot. You gave a chance, at least with Nilesh, we were going back to our Bosch roots, remembering our 17, 18 years of together in past. For us as an aftermarket community, I think it's very important we come and celebrate ourselves. As he just told, Nilesh told, this is where you make money. I don't know who makes how much money, but we definitely, this is an area where, and why do we make money? Money is sometimes feel as if you are doing a crime making money, But I tell you, in fact, I'm coming up with a new book next year. Anuj knows about it. One of the statements in the book, and very profound, which I felt, and I must tell you, it says, does money matter the most? Does money matter the most? And we can have a debate on that. A lot of us can have different opinion. But in the next sentence says, money matters to what matters to us the most. Money matters to what matters to us the most. Now, each one of us are unique. Each of our consumers are unique. Now, they need whatever their pocket allows, whatever their wallet allows. They value a lot of things, and one of that is mobility. Now, are we, what Anuj was talking, OE versus aftermarket and this independent and OES, I think the time has come. I think 2017 was first time when I presented this idea of something called an innovative approach in the aftermarket, where OEMs and aftermarket players, and I'm talking about genuine aftermarket players, original aftermarket players, to co-create the consumer experience. Because, as you said, it's great to have 1 versus 10. What happens to the 12th or the 20th customer? They will be taken care by the independent aftermarket. Whether we like it or not, all the OEMs full capacity full, still consumers will be left on the capacity side. At the same time, not all consumers are the same. Consumers are different. They need to build their mobility solutions, which is also value for money. And going to OEM authorized workshop is also value for money. But depends on which customer, who values what, who has what kind of budgets. And that is why across the globe, you will find a very harmonious relationship between OEMs and EIM. At least we know from our Bosch background, I know from the HELA background, I've been visiting around the world, such a great respect for technician, such a great respect for workshops and garages. Rather than focusing on those topics, we focus on this, flimsy conflicts. There is no conflict. There is no conflict. We just can't service every vehicle in OEM authorized garages. At the same time, they need to be full, because if they are not full, their business model will not make them viable. And viability of an authorized workshop and viability of an independent workshop, which Vikrantt runs, is the same topic for all of us. And it doesn't matter, who is the owner of it. What matters is, and why profit matters, Profit matters because we have to take care of all stakeholders. Because business is what? Just like any community work. You can do it non-profit, you can do it profit, doesn't matter. But in non-profit also, money is circulating. Even to go to a temple, you need to take money and give it to the, pujari or whoever. You have to. Money is an integral part of our life. We have to rebuild our relationship with that. I think profit is a topic we must, otherwise organizations will never be built. Because one of the biggest invention of our time is this limited liability companies. These limited liability, the word liability is very important. If they don't make profit, the company will go bust. If Kingfisher did not make money, it went bust. But who knew that Jet Airways will go bust? Now look at from that angle, that companies can die if they don't make profit. And what profit they should make can be debatable. To me, if you ask me, I want to have companies to have sustainable profit, which is governed by the ESG, because one winner take all will not work. So our workshop and garages, I think they have to differentiate their services. Just like Nilesh also told, we have to segment our market. We have to choose which customer belongs to which. So some customer which goes to roadside workshop, some customer goes to multi-brand workshop, some goes to authorized workshop. If we have to make profit, we have to be suitable to them. If you ask a roadside workshop to invest like an authorized workshop, can he generate money? He can't make profit. So because on this forum we always had this discussion to action. I love this. I would like to really coin this again to all of you and whoever is coming from OEM ecospace. I think the time has come. You heard about the big elephant in the room in Indian consumer business, and which is coming from government this time. I think we can ridicule it now, but I would like you to seriously think about it. Personally, I'm going to fight for it quite a lot. I don't want to be seen as fighting it on a diplomatic way. I'll fight it very, very openly, like we fought for road safety or whatever, like a movement. So the movement of right to repair is coming, and Ministry of Consumer Affairs have really rightly raised it. The committee has been formed, and India will see a lot of debate on something called right to repair. Now, right to repair is not only in automotive. It's into consumer space, white appliances, mobile. Why a consumer has to get, this is also like a monopolizing the thing. And nobody would like to monopolize. Even OEMs doesn't want to monopolize. But the problem is, why we have this OEM versus independent aftermarket, we have to go to the root of it. The root is, we don't have standardization in the country. And that's why, Anuj, it is not a fight of OEM versus IM. It's fight between standard versus non-standard. We all are at the same side. All OES and independent aftermarket, genuine companies are on one side. We want standardization in the country. Today, there is no legal law that a workshop has to use same COP type approved safety critical parts. There is no law. There is no legal. Fortunately, the road safety bill, and thanks to Mr. Gadkari, that the bill already, with whatever we all worked, and I can see Anilji here, all of us, I think we made that narrative that the bill has it, but the rule has not come yet. So in that case, our fight is with the non-standard, substandard, counterfeit, spurious, and if you have to fight with that, we all have to work together, and that is where workshop to make profit. They have to be on this side.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's a very valid point by Pandey ji. In fact, all throughout various editions of IVASS, we've had startups coming to IVASS. In fact, one of them I remember very clearly, there was this techpreneur. He had prepared an app more than 4 years back where you could just scan the packaging of the spare part and instantly it'll tell you whether it is genuine or fake. But then he shared his struggles. He was not getting... In forums, they would say, yeah, very good, good innovation. But when he would go for meetings, practically, he was not, given any business. And फिर उसको नौकरी join करनी.
Yeah, but the good news, Anuj,
is
the good news is because I head the aftermarket committee in ACMA. At least from ACMA and HELA behalf, I can tell you the current penetration is very strong. So HELA, every single product is digitized. So when you talk about CRM, every product of HELA when you buy, it has a serial QR code. And it has an app which actually can scan who buys where and when. And then it goes into your CRM. And millions of products we sell every month, and all of that goes through it. So those startups are getting a good business case now.
So something like this QR code enabled CRM, if we can have for all the, say, IVA members to use. All the IVA members, they have their devices, their phones, and they just have to scan the QR codes and do the billing and do their entire dashboard. If we can empower them with this CRM, I think it'll be a huge, huge step. Not just service, but also service for profit for the entire country. So, Vikrantt, coming to you, when it comes to independent garages, you represent the entire country. When it comes to CRM, what are the kind of challenges that you face? And what you feel can be a possible solution for a unified or a central CRM for independent garages?
Thank you, Anuj. Thanks to Pandey also, for he covered certain aspects which I was fearing to talk about. One of the most important is right to repair. Independent garages are not competitor to your dealer workshop. Kindly consider them as your collaborator. That's the reason why companies like Maruti, Hyundai, Ford, Tata, Mahindra, they have opened up outlets for us to buy the product, genuine product, and we use them. This makes a sensible percentage that majority of the cars running on Indian road today is repaired by independent multi-brand garages. I watch what Mr. Shankar Pandey has told, that even if you club all the dealers' workshop to attend to the vehicles you have sold, I don't think you can ever take it up. We are the people who take up that particular portion of work. Sometimes we take the majority portion of work to attend to your vehicles. So, independent multiple garage is not your competitor. Treat them as your collaborator. We seek support of availability of technology, availability of the spare parts, and most importantly, the training. Remember, it is your vehicle, you have produced it, you have sold it, and now it is in our hands and we are repairing it well. That is what I would like to tell.
So Vikrantt, apart from the servicing cost, like the typical mindset is, hey, my car is out of warranty, my car is out of extended warranty, now I think I should go to an independent garage. That's the typical mindset. Do we give those customers additional reasons beyond just the warranty reason? Yes or no? If yes, what are those reasons?
There are some reasons which I don't wish to tell, but...
Sir, this is VAF. You can be open. No problem.
There are certain reasons, they also know them very well. What we believe is sales open the door, but the service keeps it open. So we believe in that, and dealers know them. The dealer workshop know why they go out of their hands, they come into us. And they stay with us very happily. So I don't want to pinpoint why. Kindly excuse me on that.
So you mean to say that the independent garages are like the extramarital affair which happens after a few years, like the 40-year itch or something?
Yes.
7-year itch?
The love always keeps you young.
All right. So switching gears now and coming to a gentleman who is a DP, a dealer principal for Tata Motors, Kia, and running a prolific business and has one of the biggest workshops of several OEMs in this part of the country. And he also trains, he runs an academy for DPs. He trains dealer principals on how to make more money. So I think Harsh Bhai, you being in the house, what are the special sutras? Ab Ramband de hi do yaar, profit banane ka.
Hello everyone. I think I am the only DP in this hall currently. Unfortunately, we are having two brands, which is Tata and Kia, which is the largest and fastest acceptable brand among the customers. So we are fortunate, and thanks to our principals, that we are partners with them. So I think this topic, which is best practices for profitability and growth, belongs to dealer principal directly. And few OEs are there, thanks to them. And they are here to guide us because OEs, they lay some, rules, regulations, system, processes, how to run a dealership. And the best part in this hall is most of the people belongs to the vendor side, who basically give resources, new technologies, and how to increase the productivity out of the same resources or maybe some add-on resources. But ultimately, using these technologies offered by you vendors will increase the profitability and ultimately the growth of the dealership, and which leads to the growth of entire supply chain and the people associated with that. So I do a very good postmortem for profitability, which before this session I learned from Mehta sir, who is sitting there, the long hair guy.
Mehta sir, can you just please stand up so that everyone can just see you?
So I do a very...
Mehta sir, हमारे प्रिय Mehta sir. Thank you, sir.
So I do a very good postmortem. Postmortem is a negative word, sorry for that. But profitability is profitability. If we are proactive as a dealer principal, as our management, our managers, our general managers, they are proactive, they are doing meetings, they are doing tracking, whatever SOP defined by the OE. This is the pro part. Then automatically our manpower become fit for doing the job. And as a DP, we have to ensure the wellness of those manpower or the stakeholders attached with the complete ecosystem, and the ability, which is the responsibility of the OE, dealers as well as the management, to bring best out of them is the profitability. Thank you, sir. Everybody needs growth in life. Maybe it is monetary, or maybe in your lifestyle, maybe in your education, or maybe in your surroundings. So growth is a very positive word. Grow with worth is growth. Make your worth. If you're able to make your worth, automatically growth comes in. Now I directly comes to the workshop angle. What is going in the reality in the workshops, in my workshop, because I am here to share my views on best practices. So what we do to increase our profitability in year 2022 and the coming years. So we are focusing our challenge, what we discuss with our advisors, and what we understand out of what we were doing last so many years. So important is the cost analysis of per car, per day, per person, means the staff. This is very important. The cost analysis of per car, per day, per bay, per person is very important versus cost against the expense cost. The expense cost against every car. That is very important. We have to understand, like in workshops, sometimes, car sold in showroom, we deliver car in showroom, sometimes we don't fix HSRP plate, number plate, right? Then they comes in the workshop, which is an add-on cost, which is giving nothing, but security guy has to register those numbers. Then it is coming to workshop, somebody has to attend it, which is the add-on cost. So we can control those costs, which will directly increase our profitability because the customer, the employees, the staff, the resources engage with the real after-sale cars instead of doing the redoing work of the showroom. So showroom, already we have fitters, we have accessories guys. Our sales team can do delivery with the plate. It's a very small example, which increases your cost. Same way, the complaints, which increases your cost. So FRFT, which is defined by every OE, the first time right. So that's very important. Otherwise, you won't imagine one car costs sometimes, not less than 500-700 rupees. And sometimes it is 10,000, 20,000. Because you never know what customers demand against your team or your mistake. So you have to fulfill that just to close that complaint. And currently, all OEs, they are on, I think, zero tolerance. My both principals, Kia and Tata, they are at zero tolerance. They will not any single complaint, they don't accept it. They don't accept any escalation. Even you won't imagine, at my level, we used to get, morning alarms at 7, sometimes 7:30. Please go and check. There is one tweeter against your dealership. Go and get it done. So they are that way so much alert because it is a competition time and everybody is doing growth. So everybody wants to retain their numbers. So that's very important. So again, the profitability, one is how you calculate your cost, which is anchoring by the dealership, and what you are getting against your customer. This is one part. Second is your spare part management. This is very important. Last year, we closed our Nissan operations. So we understand what kind of, spare part is still lying in our stock, which is close to 70, 80 lakh rupees. And we have not earned, with Nissan, you understand, it's a challenging brand. And keeping, like, what I mean to say is, as a dealer principal, when we close our operations, there is a huge cost involved. And that's a recent example which we, suffered 70 lakh rupees of a spare part. And mostly those spare parts are not the running item. That's the unfortunate part. These are the slow moving items, some, knuckles and some screws of, body shop. So these are not sellable, which I understand, after doing the complete research. Maybe my friend next to me can help me to liquidate that, spare parts in their aftermarket. But that's a big pain area. 70 lakh rupees is a huge, huge cost to us. So what I mean to say is, we should manage our spare parts smartly. So we should track them, what kind of, spares we have in our, stocks. Like if we talk about our Tata and Kia, there is an inventory of more than 3.5 crores with us. And if we calculate market rate of interest, which is around 1%, so that's a huge cost, which is indirectly hitting our system, the balance sheet, right? 3.5 lakh rupees every month we have to drain. And suppose we have most of the spare part, which is slow moving or the dead items, then our entire circulation of the funds stops, because most of the fund, they block because of those spare parts, which we don't realize. And our spare part team, our managers, they keep putting a request to dealer principal. And through OEs, we are getting, request, please enhance your BG limit to get spare parts, which is again denting to our system. So it is better to track down your spares, right? So the next is your spare part. And the third is your cost control is your cost saving. I'm not saying cost cutting. Cutting is a crime, like negative word, and is a crime for us to use this word cutting. So cost control. So there are a lot of ways, like dealer principals, like we ourselves, last month only I realized we are paying 40,000 rupees extra electricity cost, which is on us in workshop, because the power factor, which is defined by the government, we are breaking those limits because of the fluctuation using body shop machines, MIG welder, spot welder. So we have to install one power factor. If we install it, we will save 40,000 rupees in our bill, because the billing company, the electricity company, they put a penalty on you because of the fluctuation in the load. These are very small things, but ultimately it is a 5 lakh rupees per year, which is going out of your profit, and you don't understand it. This is from for one workshop of ours, which is having this problem. So we have to fix it. So we have to understand. So we can save a lot of things if we control our wastage.
Fair enough. Absolutely.
And there is one more thing, like which I have seen in my workshop. The housekeeping, the maintenance, the guy who is living in the last, they are just putting down the MCB. Just understand what I'm saying. They are putting down the MCB. And we open workshop at 9 o'clock for customer, but our housekeeping teams comes around 7:30, 8 o'clock, just to make everything fit for the customer, right? They come and they switch on the MCB. So the entire lights, computers, everything is on. So ultimately that is again a dent of around 3 to 4 lakh rupees to my dealership. All 30, we have 13 locations in Delhi. So if we control that part, like instead of switching down the NCB, you switch it off the switch first and then MCB. So I think we are able to save a lot of cost.
I think what Harshbhai has mentioned, when he started off talking, it felt as if he was an OEM official talking. He sounded like an OEM person. The kind of terms that he was using, they were very OEM-centric terms, because I have myself worked with 2 OEMs. That's the impression I got. But then quickly he dovetailed the OEM inputs to business sensitivity and business management as an entrepreneur, as a DP. And then he spoke about sensitizing his teams on how to go ahead with this. So I think this is the Ramban, as simple as that. Many a times it is OEM versus dealer. Why? Isn't there a common vision, a common objective? Serving the customers, making money. You make money, I make money. You make the customer happy, everyone's customer is happy. So listening to the OEMs, they have a lot of experience. Instead of always just objecting or criticizing them कि ये नहीं हो सकता, वो नहीं हो सकता, ये possible नहीं है, आपको क्या पता, आपका थोड़ा business है. Being open to the inputs, OEMs have, decades of experience in countries. So absorbing those inputs like a professional, having the systems in place, applying your mind of an entrepreneur, and making your teams power it. I think it's a great combination, Harsh bhai. So with that, if we can switch gears and now come to Katti ji. So Katti ji, when we were talking about CRM, we also meant technology. So you are India's biggest telematics company and you have pioneered telematics 4.0. So where do you think in the business cycle, business management, profitability, CRM, what role can telematics play here for our dealers and OEMs?
No, one word answer to your question is huge. So I mean, actually, as we move towards being more controlled and things like that, technology plays a very important role. And well, when we talk about profitability, the experience, and the OE dealer engagement and things like that, and I would like to bring upon a very interesting evolution that is happening in the market today. There are quite a few service aggregators like MyTVS, Go Mechanic, and Rasta, an up-and-coming company. All these people are trying to together answer the same set of concerns that all of the distinguished panelists raised. See, what we try to do is, as a vehicle user, what I always had wondered is when we talk about service or when we talk about customer relationship management, why is it that we only discuss the mechanical aspects of service, like, how does the vehicle get serviced, whether my brakes are performing well, or so on and so forth. Why don't we get analytics? For example, in the commercial market today, Rama Shankar ji has been a champion along with Arindam ji to, about the road safety aspect. The transporters would like to get a lot of analytics of how their vehicle is, behaving, how the vehicle is doing on the roads, how is it that it's being driven, and things like that. See, this is what technology today, telematics is at the center of all these things. When I talk about Go Mechanics, MyTVS, and Rastas of the world, that is what they are precisely doing. Using telematics as a platform, they are trying to converge. They're going more and beyond. It's not only about service, they're getting insurance, they're getting loans. See, when we talk about customer satisfaction in service, we talk about three things predominantly, if I'm right. One is the inventory management, because a lot of customer dissatisfaction arises because when you go to the garage, there are no parts and services, parts to be serviced, and then they has to keep the vehicle in the garage. Then there is technical support, because there's lack of information, and there is diagnostic support, of course, to understand how the vehicle has behaved and things like that, right? So these are precisely the three problems that telematics today answers. And I would like to, I have been in various discussions with vehicle manufacturers. This is precisely what we need to do. Like, for example, we are talking about, today we are working with two truck manufacturers about ECU programming and reprogramming, right? This is basically to enhance the user experience. I mean, we want to see these days where you have to recall the vehicles back to the garage. That has to be history today. So we would like to, fix the bugs, fix the firmware issues of the vehicle over there. So telematics has huge potential in terms of increasing the user experience. And I think profitability is an outcome of user experience. Like, if at all we enhance the user experience, no customer is unwilling to pay for these services. So technology aids in a very big way, and I am sure vehicle manufacturers are thinking more and more about it, because when we talk about unrecognized dealers or unauthorized dealers, one of the important points that somebody brought
independent
up
garage, independent garages, not
independent
unauthorized.
garages. Okay, independent
Sensitive
garages.
word.
I'm so sorry. Independent garages, right? Independent garages, the use of spurious parts that might affect the performance of the vehicle. That is one of the key concerns of the vehicle manufacturers. But then telematics will give you that kind of a platform where you can control all these things, give proper information, and then proper analytics, and then also enhance the user experience, plus also give in-time service. That is one of the most important things. I think telematics as a technology answers these three issues: diagnostic support, technical support, and the inventory support. And these are early days again.
So what is ironical is that the aggregators of the world, like the Go Mechanics and of the world, they are imbibing or harnessing telematics much faster than the traditional auto companies, whether OEMs or independent garages.
Absolutely.
Especially because they're tech-first platforms any which ways.
no, they are one of those guys who are trying to harness the potential of this technology. I'm sure there will be days when there will not be a single vehicle on the road without telematics in it.
Absolutely.
And that is precisely the reason, the reason why vehicle manufacturers across the world, the users across the world would prefer telematics is to enhance the user experience, improve the quality of the vehicles, improve the quality of the service, and then eventually profitability will be an outcome of all these things.
Absolutely. I think also a lot of productivity, efficiency, liability ascertainment, manpower management, a lot of things get automated thanks to technologies like telematics. So I think we at the automotive industry, we still have a long way to go. So I'm not talking about the mobility companies, the Ubers and Olas and Oryx of the world. They, of course, for them it is oxygen, telematics. But when it comes to automotive operations, whether OEMs or independent garages, I think a lot still needs to be done in telematics adoption for better productivity and management. So with that, I think it's time up. If there are any questions, please feel free to shoot. We can take 1 or 2 questions. Okay, Chikara Saab. By the way, we are really blessed and honored to have Chikara ji amidst us. He is the Commissioner of Transport Department, Government of NCT of Delhi. In fact, he has very good points to share with us, and we have scheduled him to be on our panel, the EV panel, but we would also like him to say a few words quickly.
Thank you, Anuj. Good opportunity given to me to share on this session. So, automation, what has been spoken by our Patisa. And one item which was discussed by Pandey sir, that standardization of the services. So my question is to this panel is what we have done for standardization in our service sector, like we have automated garage equipments which is they are available with the Delhi government also. So we have automated testing system, like we can tell the vehicle that this is the percentage of your brakes. Like your braking efficiency is this. Let us say 70% or 80%. It is measured by the equipments. Similarly, you get your speed, you get your wheel alignment, and finally you get your damping percentage, which is with the suspension system. So if those things are given to the society, definitely people who are relying for the cost consideration to the roadside mechanic, they will definitely come. And everybody, because it is my experience that people are coming to me that we want our vehicle fitness to be done at 3 months, not for 1 year. So if this idea is floated, and it is an international practice, so why not India should explore this practice? And something very interesting which will be shared in next panel. Okay.
No, but thank you so much. I am a witness of that. I went to Haryana, under him, there's an inspection center, and I was really impressed with the standard and what they are measuring, and I think most of it was qualifying. One thing what we can answer him from the aftermarket side is we are working on many standards. I still have a lot longer discussion with Vikrantt ji from the IVASS side also. At ACMA and IVA, we are trying to figure out for our workshops, because you can't have all the biggest or highest level of standard for the roadside workshop, but you can start with the minimum one. But one thing which is already there today is, as an industry, we have built standard for technicians. It is there. Arindam ji is here, and he knows those standard. Can we at least get this group of people to propagate that no workshop in this country, at least one trained technician, one standard qualified, by NSDC, what qualification we have prepared. With a lot of hard work, this qualification standard has been prepared. And if it is there as an action, why can't we ensure that at least every workshop had one of those trained technicians to begin with? And then we will come back maybe in another 1 or 2 years on the parts side. But on parts also we are working. On workshops we are very much, I'll say, fast in progress. On parts will come up where you'll see that parts also will come under the standard.
So like a guru technician who can be a mentor to others.
Exactly. At least one we should
Just
start.
one.
And he will make everybody see.
He can be an inspiration or a benchmark for everyone.
And you can get more money also from the consumer. You can tell consumer that he is ASDC certified.
Yeah. Like what Chikara Sab just mentioned, there are a lot of fleet and mobility operators saying, we don't want annual fitness. You do it every 3 months because that means my product is on the road. That product makes more money. There is less breakdown. So I think we are already 6 minutes up. So I think quickly 15 seconds, quick summary by each speaker, and then we can wrap up the panel.
Okay. So I think it was a very good discussion. So all I want to do is I want to leave you with a thought. This discussion is on profitability, and it will come with new revenue opportunities. So we can look at, value-added services, tires, batteries. EVs is a new opportunity. Telematics obviously is a big opportunity because you can actually, you are connected to the car and you can see what's going wrong, and probably preemptive repairs can be done. So that's another thing that can be looked at. And last but not the least, maintain a good relation with the customers, and I think that will ensure your profitability.
As simple as that. Right. Pandey.
Thank you so much. I'll give you what Vikrantt was not giving, that secret sauce. Why an independent workshop? What is the USP? I think the biggest USP is what Nilesh just spoke, the closeness to the customer. So even in an authorized workshop, when they are very close to customer, they'll get full. Between the 5 workshops, you will see those who have a better relationship with customer, they will get better traction. So I think the independent workshops are more and more closer to customer. That give them more access, and you just can't compete that with any other parameters. Because physically, in your society, if there's an electrician, he's there. He is the society's electrician. Similarly, if there is and not everything needs a full-fledged service. And that is why one workshop to increase the profitability has to position himself that what he can do, what he cannot do. He should actually become an agent of an authorized workshop if he is small, that he can become an extended arm of an authorized workshop. And many of these OEMs have come up with a very innovative approach by training these workshops. In fact, Hero is doing quite a lot with ASDC. I think that's a welcome step. I want more and more OEMs to support.
Castrol.
Yeah, even
Shell,
Tata did it to the independent workshop. So this is where we are coming together. So your whole idea of not it is versus, but and together. And many of their problem we will solve. For example, one of the problem what we just heard regarding spare parts. So much spare parts, and it can go bad if you stop that model. So if you keep all spare parts only in the authorized workshop, you need to keep more of it. But if you are around the whole...
Hub and spoke.
Exactly. Around all the retailers have it, all the big stockists have it, then he can even pay a little bit more for that rather than losing 5 lakhs rupees.
Yeah. If a pizza can come in 30 minutes, so can a spare part.
Yeah, he can actually give more money to that and no need to keep that many stocks of crores of rupees. So these are some of the possibilities. My only take will be that why not we work together rather than the versus.
Great. So, Vikrantt, last 15 seconds
I would
summary.
just try to tell the motto of IVASS, working together works. So, it is nothing called versus. It is with. It is with that we can do a lot of wonders. Ultimately, our goal is to make sure that the vehicle we have sold to the consumer lives a longer life, a very healthy life. So, let's work together and make sure that, it is not whoever repairs it, but whoever repairs it, it repairs for good. That's all.
It's like बच्चा बड़ा होके hostel चला गया. बच्चा तो आपका ही है ना? Something like that.
मुझे लगता है as a DP, because automobile dealer principal customers, 2023 is going to be challenging for dealership business, because we understand the sales are slightly on the lower side, and every car company, they have done wonders in last 2 years. But now there are the global factors and the domestic factors, like rate of interest is going high and people are like slightly discouraged to buy new cars. And all the workshops throughout India, when I talk to my other dealer colleagues and car companies, so every workshop is flooded with the load cars. So getting cars is not a challenge. repairing cars to the customer satisfaction is a big challenge as of now. And I think as a DP, I should focus on two areas. One is my first customer is my staff. If they retain with me, they understand, they are filled, उनका पेट भरा हुआ है, सब कुछ है, they will definitely do good for your dealership. Ultimately, that converts into CSI, SSI, and CPTV and everything. And second is investment into productivity enhancement systems, like for vendors. Because last 2 years, we also not invested much of it. There is less pressure from OE side to invest into equipments and other things, which ultimately increases the productivity. So time to invest into resources, new systems, just to increase productivity ultimately. So these two things. Thank you.
Perfect. Mr. Katti?
Yeah. So as a technology company, I think whose responsibility is to give actionable data, I think the biggest learning I take from this discussion is I think it's very important to have a convergence between vehicle manufacturers, authorized garages, and independent garages. That will actually enhance the user experience and then eventually increase profitability. I think that is where we will strive to work in the near future. Thank you.
Beautiful. So friends, that's a wrap on this panel. Thank you so much for listening patiently. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for that most interesting discussion. And to felicitate our speakers, I would like to invite representatives from the HAS Group, Focus Group, Synchron, and ICAT. Mr. Rama Shankar Pandey. Mr. Nilesh Shah. Mr. Vikrantt Mohan. Mr. Vashist. Mr. Vadiraj Katti. Loud round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the whole set of panelists. And I think the mandatory photograph in the front with all of you together. Thank you so much, gentlemen.